It is that time of the cycle where Bitcoin has found a low 17 to 19 months before the halving, which means the likelihood that the bottom is in is very high. The question is, what is the price of Bitcoin going to be at when the fourth halving occurs in 2024? That is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoyed this kind of content. Today we're going to be talking about exactly what price Bitcoin is going to be at when the fourth halving occurs. And so what I did was I went back in time and I looked at where the price usually is during the time of the halving. And what I noticed is that the price is in the middle of the cycle top and cycle low during each halving. We're not hitting new lows. We're not hitting all-time highs. We're in the middle of the previous high and the previous low during the time of the halving. And so what I did was I started to look at the percentage gain and loss of the price at the time of each previous halving. And what I found was the price on the first halving in 2012 was minus 60% from the top, plus 500% from the bottom. And if you go to the next cycle in 2014, going through 2015, when we hit the bottom, we had 19 months until the next halving. And the price at the time of the halving was minus 50% from the top. And from the bottom, we were actually up 265%. So that was the percentage loss and gain at time of halving. Go to the next cycle in 2018, December of 2018. When we hit the low, we had 18 months until the halving. And at the time of the halving, the price was down roughly 55%, and the price was up roughly 190%. The one thing that is consistent here is the percentage loss at time of halving. You can see that the percentage gain is the one that's changing the most, plus 500, plus 265, plus 190. But the percentage loss of minus 60, minus 50, minus 55 is pretty consistent. And now Bitcoin's price has bottomed, at least seems to have, in November of 2022, just 17 months before the next halving in 2024. And that timeline lines up pretty well with all the previous cycles, 18 months, 19 months. So in terms of timing, we're there, right? We're at the right spot. So at this point in time, we could be looking for, some sort of short-term bull trend followed by a short-term bear trend, giving us some sideways action into the fourth halving. Usually something along those lines is what takes place. And so if you go to Bitcoin now, the estimation here, if you just go with what Bitcoin's usually doing, something like a minus 50% loss from the top, that puts us at about 35,000, roughly 35,000 from the top, minus 50%. And then from the cycle low, if you measure it using the minus 50% calculation, that gives us plus 135. And that goes along with the decrease of percentage gain from the cycle bottom, plus 500%, plus 265%, plus 190%, plus 135%. So the likely price at the time of the fourth halving is going to be about 35,000, according to this estimation. And what does that mean for Bitcoin? It means that the price can do whatever it wants in the meantime. We could have the price go really sideways and do almost nothing and then move up into the fourth halving, or the price could run up way higher, way faster than people expect, followed by major sell-off at the end of the year before recovering into the fourth halving, something like that. All of these, whatever happens from here to then, who knows, right? But on average, the price is going to be, based on the previous data, around 35,000 at the time of the fourth halving. And what does that mean for you, the traders and investors in this market? Well, it means that we're in the zone where we should be probably buying the dips and looking at this from a long-term accumulation perspective. It is not the time to FOMO the tops. It's time to, buy the dips and let it ride. And if we dip, accumulate some more. When you're below the previous all-time high, I think we would all agree that this is a buy the dip zone. Any dip below the all-time high here, especially after you've already hit the supposed low, 17 to 19 months before the halving, every dip in here should be a buy. It should be a hold. It should all be looked at from a long-term perspective. And usually for Bitcoin, the price action that we see moving into the halving is very painful for both bulls and bears, because the bulls usually get a little bit of a rally, but the price is unable to really move until we get to the halving. 2018, the bulls had a really nice time in 2019, but we returned back to the lows in 2020. And so that type of painful price action where nobody gets what they want, right? We don't hit new lows, we don't hit new all-time highs before the halving. It's a little bit painful. The way I would describe it is that there's no significant change in price until the next halving occurs. So that's what I'm looking for, 35,000. I hope that answers the question for you, what you can expect going into the next halving. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button and subscribe to this channel. Use all the links below to support this channel. There's plenty of rewards in those links for you guys to take advantage of, and I'll see you all in the next one.